election for the County Council's at-large seat is less than a month away. In the next coming weeks, CTV will introduce you to each of those candidates. Joining us in the studio today is candidate Isaac Toyos. Mr. Toyos, thank you so much for joining us. Just to start, can you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Why are you running for the at-large seat?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm really appreciative of that. And the reason why I'm running for the at-large seat is because when my wife and I moved down here to Prince George's County, prior to that, I was active duty in the military. When we decided to move down here, we enjoyed the community so much that we decided to set up roots here. We bought our home, and I started seeing some of the issues that the county has. Beyond just commenting on them and just discussing them amongst friends, I really didn't do much regarding that. And it wasn't until my wife and I, we found out that we were pregnant and that we're having our first child right now. And it wasn't until then that I really started to get concerned about all the issues, like the crime issue that we have, the school issues that we have, and try to find ways to make that better, because the alternative is to keep on moving to somewhere where those services can be provided, and in which case I would rather just work towards getting towards a solution.
Mm-hmm. So those issues that you mentioned, crime, that's a big thing that everyone is discussing right now, especially youth crime. Do you have any ideas for how the county council could tackle that?
So the way that the county council can tackle that right now is to increase the spending that we have on recruitment of police officers, so that they can be more of a part of their community. I am of the belief that we don't have enough. We should have a little bit more. And the reason why I can say that is because I can sit in the front porch of my house in Temple Hills, and I don't see a police car roaming the streets of where I live. So doing those preventive rounds. So increase recruitment, and then obviously talk to community leaders so that we can find ways to tackle or increase our presence in those high crime areas.
Okay, so you're talking about increasing funding for law enforcement. You know, the county council passed the operating budget for 2025. It has over $170 million budget shortfall. It's going to be a big issue for the council coming up this year. So how do you plan to close that gap?
So the way we can close that gap is not a one-stop measure where we can do that and by the end of next year we'll be able to balance our budget. This has to be a step-by-step approach that takes years to get there. But the way that you get there is you don't do that by you don't do that by cutting programs. You don't do that by reducing the budget. You do that by setting up the county to spend more money. And with that, and so the argument is, how can you set up the county to spend more money, but at the same time you don't tax people a little bit more? So my proposal for that is, because 70% of the tax revenue that comes into the county are from its residents, mm-hmm. And mainly is through property taxes, we have to increase the amount of, or we have to restructure the way we do our zoning so that we can enable the county to build more homes. We can attract more people to move down here, and it actually will put us in a position where we can actually tax people less, but we can still increase our revenue. But that is a 5 to 10 year plan. Okay,
so you're talking about increasing housing. Affordable housing has also been a big topic in the county council this past year. You know, we have the Rent Stabilization Act that was recently, you know, lots of discussion in the county council. What's your approach to that?
So I don't have issue with that type of approach. The only thing is that's a stopgap measure and not necessarily a permanent solution mm-hmm. to fix the issues that we have. So we have to organically set up the county economy to be cheaper, and the way that you do that is looking at the long-term plans that we have, and not necessarily. So those are good ideas that will actually help people, but you also want to not have people depending on that and just waiting, oh, well, is the county going to do something about it, or are they not going to do something about it? Versus I could move anywhere in the county because it's affordable in almost all the areas.
Okay. What strategies do you have to attract new businesses and support the existing ones in the county?
So the way we can attract and support the existing ones in the county is also through zoning, right? I believe that one of the issues that we have in the county is that most of the county council is tied with whichever interest that they may have in terms of zoning, and so that might impact the way or it slows down the progress that the county may have in terms of building new projects. So if we have like this multinodal housing where we can actually increase the amount of affordable housing, but at the same time attract businesses into these buildings, that's one of the ways that we can just attract more people to come here and improve.
Okay, and I wanted to go back to one of the issues that you mentioned right at the top about schools.
Yes,
so the Maryland blueprint for the future, that's a big issue when it comes to the budget. Do you have any ideas on tackling that, or how do you feel about the blueprint plan?
So I know for a fact that the county, I think the county budget for the schools is like roughly around 60%, if I'm not mistaken. So the issue with the education issues that we have in the county is not necessarily that we're not throwing enough money at the problem. We are throwing enough money at the problem. It has to do with an oversight issue. Are these taxpayer dollars going towards the necessary programs that will help improve our school system? And are we going to be honest enough in the county council to say, well, maybe this program's not working, or it may need a little bit more support, or we can divest some support from this program to the other one. And that's not necessarily saying that we should do away with programs, but they can be restructured in a way that is a little bit more effective. Okay. So that oversight piece is pivotal, and I believe that makes me a strong candidate for the county council because I understand that I'm from an opposing party. I'll be better positioned to actually conduct that oversight instead of people within their party doing that.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Mr. Toyos. We're out of time now, but I really appreciate you coming and sitting with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. Thank you.